all your help. So now for the main action of our meeting today, I would like to invite Devendra Garu to introduce our guest speaker and let us dive into the topic, sir.
Okay, I am unmuted now. It's my honor. Thank you, Rajagaru, to introduce you guys, the members here, to whom I call my mentor and who has taught me a lot in the last 7-8 years. What I am today in the financial field is because of this gentleman, Dr. Zhong Shi, and he as a boss, Shao, who I'm more scared of than Dr. Zhong Shi. Anyway, that's a different story. Dr. Zhong has 18 years experience in financial education and service businesses. He has a PhD in physics. He was as a previous career as a scientist at NASA and a director at a high-tech company. He's a certified financial planner. He's a co-author of a book called Saving Your Future, which has been printed more than 2 million copies. If this copy was sold on the New York Stock Exchange, New York bestsellers list, it would have been one of the top 10 books, but we don't sell them. We give it as a financial educational book. He was an advisory council member for many financial institutions such as Transamerica Group, Nationwide. He represents the financial services institutions as independent advisor to visit, and he visits Capitol Hill. He visited in 2018 and 2019 to discuss industry regulations, government policies with congressmen and women. And he has been in the field for such a long time that he also does a lot of advice to many of the companies on how to design some products, solutions for the thing. So it's my honor and privilege to invite Dr. Zhong Shi. Dr. Zhong, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Devendra, for the wonderful introduction, and also Roger and your club invite me for this event. Really nice to meet all your members. And I visited your school, the facility, last year, and I really be impressed, how your mission and preserve the teaching the young kids, the culture, native culture, and I really glad, honored to be associated with your organization, and hopefully we can have a more partnership or some contribution, yeah, to help each other. Okay, so today I will spend maybe spend 40 minutes, I think. Okay, 40 minutes to go through some presentation, and basically I did a bi-weekly update with the coronavirus and the economy, market, and the financial industry in the past almost 6 months. And today I like to summarize a little bit the current situation and how we prepared as an individual face this coronavirus and the election coming, a few days, and give my thoughts, okay? And most, if you have questions, you feel free to post on the site or let the vendor maybe help me. I will leave in 5-10 minutes in the end to answer some questions. Okay, and of course, if you need a more individual private talk, then definitely check with the vendor. Our office is actually very close to your facility, maybe like 10 minutes away. Okay, now let me start my presentation. I will share the screen. Okay, so hopefully works fine. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see. Yes.
Okay. Let me. Sorry. Can you see the full screen or?
No, we don't see the presentation mode. We just see
Okay.
your. Okay, now it is good. Yeah, now we can see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is my presentation. Okay, let's see. So disclaimer. Okay, so first today is more like internal invitation only seminar. It's not to the public. I represent myself as an individual. I don't try to give any advice for the investment, because it's more like private events. So if you really need some advice,
I want you to hit one time. You
better
understand?
you find your financial advisor, for the person, or you make an appointment in the future. Okay. So this is the disclaimer because of compliance reason. Okay. Now, here I do give one of the update about the coronavirus. Okay. So let's see. So first of all, this yesterday's I check with this the website holder. Yesterday actually, it is I was told it's close to 100,000, but here the number shows me is 76,000, and the death is more worried about me is almost 900. A lot of people have no idea how serious it is. I give you an example is in average, the traffic cause the death in United States is 100 person per day. So in other words, the current death rate by coronavirus is almost nine times of the traffic deaths. So in other words, if you expose this environment, the danger is 9 times as the traffic, okay, fatality, okay. And now California actually doing good job. Okay, actually California population is more than 10%, like 12, 13% population, but the actual death is only like less than 4%. So California actually doing good job. The Middle East is the worst, and Santa Clara County is even better. Santa Clara County, suppose maybe there are 2 million people. Usually should be we expect 2 or 3 deaths. But now the worldwide, okay, the worldwide is very serious. Okay, I will show you maybe next slide. I will show you the trend. So no, sorry. This is a trend. Okay, here let me. I like to put down. Okay. This is the overall the worldwide. Okay, the daily. This is the daily new cases. The daily deaths. So new case worldwide, you find actually still exponential growth. So which means it's not settled down at all. And this is United States. United States now they started early, mostly the New York, East Coast. Then the overall country, now they are in the West, in the Middle West, and now we are actually break the previous record. We see the third wave. And here is a death. Here is a death. Also here is California. California actually is going down. It's not like a national, so it's a good control. And here's the death rate. So death you'll find is pretty stable the worldwide, which means even though the number of the infection is growing, but the death rate is going down. Okay, because the mature of the treatment and the facility, people more aware of that. And the United States is a stable and it keep going down, looks like. And California looks like it's down. So this is the overall the situation. And right now, actually, the Asia, China, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, actually, they are doing very good. The death rate per million people, per 100,000 people, actually, they are almost 1% of the global average. So which means they are in a good control. But I know a lot of times it is hard for free world, Western world is more freestyle. The government have less control, so make it not easy. Okay, so that we have to, maybe we have to live in that period of time. And one thing talk about, even we have a vaccine coming. Okay, the vaccine usually is not 100% effective, and also not 100% people willing to inject the vaccine. So average like people, maybe 70% of people take the vaccine, and maybe effective is still 80%. In that case, we still need, in order for we have the group, the effect, they have to maybe another 120 million people, worldwide, they have to still suffer, until we achieve that level, control level. So that is something I like to put. Also, I like to show this data. This actual data from Germany. Germany have, you see the peak, the second peak coming up. This one I like to share with you is where the people get the infected, because you will pay attention. you will see majority, the blue line is the people in the private homes. They get effect because the family members affected and you're passing by, you're affected, you know. So majority. And the next one is the elderly living facility, like long-term care facility, senior centers, okay. And the next one is medical hospital practice, but it's still more small one. Workplace is also quite a bigger percentage, you know, workplace. And the school actually is quite a good control, is not as we expect, bigger, because a lot of areas open the school now. So school daycare center is not as we serious, and sports entertainment is a good control. Restaurant, bars, and actually very good control right now. Public transportation actually very low, because maybe less people go to public transportation, or because maybe there's some protections, and there's others, okay? So that's just for aware. And but today my topic is more talk about how this coronavirus impacted the economy and the market as a profession, as a financial professional. So I'm not an expert in coronavirus, you know, but so I more talk about the economy, okay, and the market. The next one is, of course, the overall, you know, the keep the social distance will be affected a lot. What we expect, okay, this is some data, last week data. Expect maybe last 1 to 2 years, the whole world, because this kind of pandemic, even United States you control, but if Africa is not in control, good control, and we still have a really limited transportations, global wise, you know, airlines. Every airline still needed to taking care of that. So it's a global wise issue, and the most thing is not how good of the country you do. Usually, how long lost is defined by the worst country control. The worst country, if we still have this issue, then and we expect 1 or 2 years, and the global GDP will down 7.5%. Okay, that's a global GDP, and the unemployment rate, as I show you later, actually we are afraid maybe in the coming months it become worse, especially now the second wave coming. So maybe reach to 15%. Right now, the United States is 7.5%. Okay, and we still have a bigger concern, and eventually maybe 60% of people still working at home. Okay, and that will become more new normal. And as I mentioned, 120 million people were at risk. And for the economy-wise, the trend is, I will say, comment a little bit about the accelerate the digital revolution, you know, and that's why like a Zoom, the Zoom stock price is going up. You know, the digital revolution is ongoing. That's why these like high-tech companies is outperform the general market big time. Amazon doing good, and like Alibaba just have another IPO for their financial arm, you know, in Hong Kong and Shanghai, and the biggest IPO, they raised almost $13 billion, you know, and the capitalization is almost $300 billion. And another one is the impact of the globalization. Globalization is the main trend right now. But because of coronavirus, maybe have bigger impact, and not just that, and also recent U.S. and China decoupling, you know, and make it even worse. So we will see. And another one is recently why this election is so hot and so separate the country is because of wealth disparity after the coronavirus, the pandemic. I will show you more and analyze in the next few slides. Okay, so let's look at the market. This is Friday closing, and I like to show you one last 5 days. You know, last 5 days. One is the S&P 500 index. Okay, this is a major index we're using. You look at that in the last 5 days, we almost lost like 6.5%. Okay. Maybe related to the second wave, maybe related to the election. Okay, maybe also what about because of the stimulus package. I will comment more. But I like most people look at is the stock market. But I like you to pay more attention to the treasury bond. This is a 10-year treasury bond yield. Last 5 days, actually, they going up dramatically. They going up almost, let's say, 12 to divided by the 15%. Okay, so in that words, which means the people usually, if the market is unfair, for example, people sell the stock, usually they buy the bond. If they buy the bond price will going up, then the interest rate will going down. But in other words, it's not happening now. Now what happened is they sell stock, they also sell bond. Even you look at the gold, they also gold price also some hit, you know. So in other words, everyone just want out of the market. They don't want to hold anything. Okay, they just want to hold cash. So which means there's a lot of some panic here. It's not like a normal cases. People sell the stock, they may buy the gold, they will buy the bond. So this is something you like to aware. But for this low interest, I will comment more. It's not a coronavirus issue. It's more like a long-term economy. We are go to the new area. Okay, and this is a 10-year bond yield, which means 10 years you only expect 0.86%, which means you save the money there, you just expect after 10 years your money only grow 8.6%. And that's why the bank interest rate is so low. That's worry us, you know. That's why if you look at the stock market is still doing good this year, but why these government bond is so low yield? And that's what I like to discuss today, okay? And now, okay, so I like to review a little bit of the current economy, okay, the market. So for example, I like to show you the, maybe the traditional industry actually quite weak, okay? Let's say maybe I don't have that date, okay? So one thing is traditional, for example, like GE. If you look at the GE stock price, okay? GE stock price, of course, they are not doing good after 2000. This 2008, they crashed, and now they down. So their stock is almost to go down 90% in the last 20 years. So in other words, GE is only one stock in the Dow Jones industry, in the index for more than 100 years now, you know. Okay, but that GE is the only one left, which means other companies all kicked out, you know. But they are only one left, but their price is go down 90% for these 20 years. That's illustrated the traditional industry in the United States is not doing well. The manufacturing is only good is maybe financial industry and the high tech, okay? Maybe some entertainment, medical side, but the tradition is not good. And that trend, we don't know. Trump will promise will move the job back to United States, but actually doesn't help, doesn't happen. They move some job from China, but to Vietnam, maybe to India, to other areas, you know. I didn't say go back to United States. And also consumer confidence. Okay, I would like to show you next slide because this consumer confidence is still 22% off. Okay, after even though for example, last quarter they dropped like a 32%, but this last quarter, third quarter, they go up 33%. But you have to know, you go down 30%, go up 30% is not go back. For example, if $100 go down 30%, you get $70. But $70 go up 30%, you will get $91. You're still missing 9%. So that's why we see the data shows they go down, they go up, but the overall compared to before pandemic, the consumer confidence level is at 22% low because I canceled a lot of my travel, you know, flights. I canceled a lot of the dinner, you know, the meeting, the dinner, entertainments. And so that's why I think even coming months is even worse. Okay, let me go up, okay. And inflation is low. This one, I'm not sure I have. Oh, this is the interest rate. This is almost 100 years interest rate. Actually, this is a zero rate. Actually, we do have some negative one, but usually it's in the big depression, you know, a great depression area. but the inflation high is in the World War II area, and this is 1980s. But in the last 30 years, we are in the low inflation. The inflation keep going down. That is why the bond investment is very good. Two investment will be good if interest rate going down. One is bond, one is real estate. Because when you have the interest going down, the price of the bond or the price of the real estate will going up. Plus you have rental income, plus you have dividend. So that's why this investment is extremely good. But now when the interest rate already go down to zero, and we may not, unless we go to negative, but if you go to negative, the price go down, the bond price may go up, but the interest is negative to offset. So total return for bond, you have to adjust the expectation of the bond return will from 6%, now maybe go to 1%, 2%. That's why if you have 401k, if you have a target fund, if you have a lot of bond portfolio there, now using bond to hedge your risk, stock market risk, is not a good idea at all. Because right now we didn't see the interest rate will go in further down. If they're going up, then you get more interest, but your price will going down. Your real estate is the same thing. Real estate is almost the same mechanism. So that's why I will comment on that later. Another one I'm talking about the wealth disparity. You know, this is also a serious one. You look at this chart here. This actual blue one is 1%. The people hold the United States, wealthy people hold the assets. And the dark blue, the light blue is 10%. 10% they are holding almost 87% of assets. Like a stock market doing good, but a lot of people suffer, you know, the unemployment. That's why you look at the remote work people. If you look at the income, if your income less than $25,000 income, you know, you cannot, only 11% people working at home. Otherwise, you have to working outside, and they give them more risk. But if people make $150,000, 66% of people can work at home, you know, so they make them more safe. So because that low income people working outside, they cannot work at home because their job is maybe very essential, okay, and that's put them more dangerous, and they don't have a lot of asset in the stock market, so they didn't enjoy this this wave of the stock market growth. So that's why the wealth disparity is more serious. That's why this election is more hot and average is intensity. And that is something I'm also worried about that, because eventually there's the only way to solve wealth disparity is either bigger crash for the stock market or the bankruptcy of the lot of the assets, like 2008, the stock price crash, the housing price crash, okay, the major company go bankruptcy. That's rich people will lose the asset. This is one way. Another way is devalue the dollar. Okay, make the dollar devalue that. But it looks like dollar is still quite good overall compared to other currencies. No one will go to Japan, yuan, or euro because they also have trouble. And if there's a war, if there's any unstable, people still move the money to US. So US still the stronger military and technology. So in that case, may not. Another way is a lot of the revolution, maybe like Black Lives Matters, all kind of loots. That people will kill the rich people. They will break the shopping mall, all these things, and that one will eventually to balance a little bit, because wealth disparity too large, there will revolution coming, like in China happens, you know. Or another thing is a war, just like World War II. The World War I. If there's World War II, if there's a war coming, maybe they will destroy a lot of the assets, and the poor people, there's nothing to lose. Everyone lose life, just like Germany. Everyone in 1947, everyone lost everything, unless you're hiding some gold or some watch, whatever. But everyone have $25. Everyone they give $25. Start from beginning. That's why today in Germany still not have a big difference between the rich and poor because they reset, okay, 70 years ago, and China reset in 70 years ago, okay. But these days they still have a big issue. Disparity is one issue, and pandemic is enhance that, okay. And the election is a hit, okay. This is the data, and I don't know. I don't want to put a political view here, and a lot of people don't trust the poll, you know, the survey, whatever. And I don't want to argue here. We will see in 2 days, okay, hopefully. But that one I will explain a little bit what happens if the election we didn't show the results immediately. That will have some impact in short term in the market, okay. Now, so economy. Now, this is the one like I like to discuss a little bit. What's next, okay? First of all, people always ask me the stock market, okay? So, you know, I canceled the 4 trips, you know. We expect 2020 we are we travel the world, but the reality is we stay home, you know, wash the dish, you know. And the only thing I would say can comparison for this impact in history, in stock market history, is Great Depression in 1929 to 1930 time frame. You know, the market down down almost 59% in half year, but they up in the next half 9 months is 48, but they keep going down again. So it looks like we are quite close. You know, we are down maybe 40% in 1 month. Now we cover another 50%, but now we're a little bit down like 10%, and we don't know. The election, the coronavirus, maybe we're down. I will give my opinion because I never predict the market in short term, but in long term, I will explain to you. First of all, is a V recover or K recover. The V recover, the stock market looks like a V recover, but not. Why we say K recover? K recover is rich people and poor people have different recover. Okay, rich people looks like okay, poor people actually lost a job, so that's not. And the inflation is low, and I will spend some time to explain to you that because this is more important. How the Federal Reserve printed money and impact the future inflation and the interest and your investment. Okay. And unemployment rate maybe go up again. As I mentioned, you know, global-wise, they may expect 15%. I don't know, because I still think because we have a PPP, we have a lot of government, you know, a stimulus package, but actually I still worry about a lot of small business owners. They cannot pay the rent. They cannot survive in the a lot of real estate. They cannot eviction now, but eventually they have to default, you know, and I'm afraid that the layoff will coming in the months. I have clients, you know, call me, they get a layoff, you know, even they're good companies, even high-tech company, even software areas. So in the coming 6 months to 2 years, I'm not very positive, you know. And election and wealth disparity, I will comment on that, okay. And when the true economy recover, my expectation is 1 to 2 years to go to the level to the pandemic. Vaccines have to come in, and the weakest point in the world have to taken care. You cannot just taking care of the United States or Europe or China or India. You have to taking care of the worst country, and otherwise it still can be anytime they still can issue, you know. And the correction of the crash looks right now currently looks like the correction, okay, because if to me is a very depending on the election and the stimulus package. Okay, Democrat coming and stimulus package, big money print out, then it's a correction. If not, maybe a crash coming. Okay, I will explain to you later on. So I don't know, honestly. Okay, and let me comment a little bit about the election. Okay, this is just joke. Okay, I don't want to offend anyone. A lot of people is Trump support. A lot of people hate him, okay? But one thing I like to comment a little bit is, for example, if a Republican wins, okay, the stimulus package will be limited, but that will weaken stock market. But they will keep the tax rate low. That will be favor the stock market, okay? Democrat will be increase the physical stimulus, so that will good for market, but they will increase the tax. But if they increase the tax, actually it's not necessary for long term will hurt, because for long term, no matter who become the in the White House, the long term tax rate will increase for sure, because government print so much money, so much deficit. If actually Republican be in the office when I retired, because a lot of your investment in the tax deferred, so you don't pay tax now, but after 10, 20 years when you retire, you will pay tax. If we cut the tax more now, when we retire, we have a more high tax. I will comment later and show you data, historical data. But if we raise the tax now, in the future, when you retire, then maybe the tax still okay. So it's just different. If you have a bond on your hand, doesn't matter the bond is a bond now or later. You hold it, as long as you hold it, it's very dangerous to you. So that part, I don't know, is a favor or not. Okay, but Democrat maybe low the reverse the cap on these we call the state, at local tax, because California and New York is impacted big time by Trump tax cut, because they limit only $10,000 for these itemized deduction in the state tax and the local, property tax. And in California, New York hit big time. Usually for myself, I can deduct $40,000 at least for that tax alone, but now it's limited only $10,000. And the Democrat may release that. Actually, I will do one talk, and you are welcome, and check with the vendor. Maybe I will do on Wednesday. If we know the result, who will be in the office, then I will give you what is the economy, what the tax looks like. Because if we know, if not, if we don't know, then I will delay it to a few weeks. Okay, I will do other updates. Okay, another one is healthcare is a big issue. Republican, if they have a majority in the Supreme Court, so they may reverse the Affordable Care Act. Okay, and that is a big issue. And but the Democrat in the office may not, but they may also impact the higher education sector, because they may put more higher education, like a public school, like a community college is free. Even eventually the public school will be free. And then there's a lot of the low tier private school will go under. Okay. And the financial college planning will be a different issue, and the whole education system maybe have some change. Okay. And so this is the thing. And here I just find one interesting picture, because this is a stock market in the election year. The red one means people who basically the person win who is not the current, either not incumbent. This is who is incumbent. Okay, so in other words, if Biden wins, this curve like that. Trump wins, curve is like that. Okay, so in other words, the last 3 months, if the current president lost the campaign, the stock market, the last 1.5 months, they will go down. Okay, and if they win, then they should going up. So it looks like that. But no matter who will win, the overall after election, this election date looks like they all go up. Okay, because market don't want uncertainty. Once one win, they certain, looks like they all go up. But right now, there's a risk we don't know. This time, we don't know. Many times, this is a historic data for from 1926. From 1926, 90 years data. This is 90 years data, okay? From 1926 to 2016. But this time, what we experience could be, we may take 2 months until they will go to Supreme Court, maybe they'll go to Congress, maybe even they are officially announced, but the other party not admitted. And maybe that causes chaos, and that still causes market uncertainty. So in other words, if not that happens, the market looks like going up anyway, because uncertainty is gone. But if not the case, there's a lot of up and downs. lot of the so I don't know. So this is the curve I like to share. Okay, now I like to comment some low interest. So you see this interest we going up, that's the market going down, now suddenly going down to almost zero. And if you look at the whole world, many countries, this is United States, they are still in the high interest, and the UK, Europe, Japan, many countries already go to negative interest. This is the data I will show you. This is actually last year. This is a 10-year, 15-year bond. Most of Europe country and Japan, they already go to negative. Actually, UK, they talk about a negative next year. Okay, United States already go down to 10-year, go down to 0.8. Okay, so this is a more impact than the stock market. You have to understand your 401k. That's why I said don't go to your bond. If you have any bond portfolio, take it out. Now, how to replace that? We have some trainings. We have some solutions. I personally bought some kind of insurance annuity products, give me about 4 to 6% return. It's better than bond. I using that because they guarantee me and low risk. So, but the other one, the investment side, I go to some index. Index, they give me some kind of guarantee. If market lost 20%, they guarantee me. But if the up, they give me 100%, just like S&P 100. So I will go to index this part, but I go to some conservative like annuity part, not traditional annuity. Okay, there's a lot of different ways. So this one is more important. You have to know. But why is the interest rate is so low? This one I like you to explain a little bit. First of all, people afraid. Government print the money, you were afraid that inflation will going up, right? Because a lot of people are afraid that now government print so much money, the inflation going up. But actually it's not true. So inflation is always depending on the supply or demand, which means the supply is there are a lot of people have money and they need a good. For example, they need an iPhone. Everyone have money, they want an iPhone. But Apple cannot produce so much iPhone. Then the iPhone price will going up. There's the inflation. If everything we have money, we have the demanding, but we don't have the supply, then inflation will coming up. Or deflation. Deflation is you have a lot of supplies, manufacture a lot of things. Just like a computer. Computer, we can manufacture a lot of things. Computer actually price is a deflation. But not everyone need upgrade. Before they maybe every 3-4 years, now they may not upgrade so much. Then you didn't see the computer price, laptop, I didn't see the price going up. So same thing. Right now, one thing is government print money, but if they print money, give people and the people use the money to buy things and the manufacturing not improve, then the inflation will going up. That's how we understand. Most inflation is happened in the wartime, like China in 70 years ago. There's a war. There's no good available. There's no transportation. They just locally. The city is already frozen. And then people have money, they still can buy things. Then inflation, huge inflation, or print a lot of money. But right now, the United States, they print money, okay? But if this money is used to help people make sure they can find a job, because if there's a print money in the unemployment rate is high, if there's unemployment rate is high and they print money, just like you print money not by the apple, but you print money, you start to plant apple trees and growing more apple, then actually it will be deflation because more apple on the market, because you use the money to manufacture more things. There's more things available, then actually not necessarily going the inflation. So that's why the inflation or not is depending on the unemployment rate. If the money go to manufacturing, labor, because inflation, or if the unemployment rate there, people don't have a job, that labor will be wasted. Okay, so right now, Federal Reserve is trying to print money, save the unemployment rate. Okay, they want to save the employment rate. So in that case, that's why, like Japan, 20 years they print money. Japan print more money than United States. They print the 2 times of the GDP. Inflation never exceeded 2%. Never. They're struggling to find the inflation rate. Okay, and then United States, maybe next 10, 20 years will become next Japan, could be. The reason for that is, one is population. The overall worldwide population going down. Even China population not going down. In Shanghai, one couple only born 0.9 baby. They need a born 2.1 baby, keep the stable population. Otherwise, they will every 20 years, they half of the population. So very dangerous. There's no population, no inflation. And the productivity, now because of AI, because of the internet, because of globalization, whatever, the productivity is high. So if you need a Tesla, Tesla can manufacture it. If you need an iPhone, they will manufacture it. So there's no supply issue. That's why, you know, productivity also make the inflation low. So that's why we may into the low inflation era for next 10, 20, 30 years, okay? And also technology, globalization, because globalization makes the labor also cheap, okay? Because many times countries don't develop it because either they don't have labor like the United States or they don't have capital. Now, because of globalization, capital can easily go to China, India, Vietnam, and the labor can go to Africa, South Asia. So make these supply can easily provide. And natural resource, yes, natural resource is an issue, but right now the oil, gas, we didn't say that issue. That's why this time the market down and the oil price, gas price is down because they find technology can have unlimited reserve. And we don't have this issue basically. And another one, the biggest issue is we call it credit and money supply. So for example, this is the price. Price times the available goods times equal to money and circulation, okay? So right now, if their money is big, but if a supply is big, but also circulation is efficient. Well, circulation, not here. Here, circulation is not efficient. For example, in China, they print a lot of money. Money is up. But they produce a lot of things. But the circulation not efficient, which means a lot of people put the money buy real estate. When they buy real estate in China, it's not like a 20% down payment. You need a 50% down payment. You put a real estate, then the money stuck there. They stuck there 5, 10 years. They don't circulate in the market. Then even you print the money, they don't go up, don't go to inflation. Like now they go to stock market. United States, they go to stock market. Okay. And China also people have corruption. There's some office corruption. They put a billion yuans in the basement. These are cash. So even they print the money, but the cash not circulate in the market. India maybe a few things they have to change the currency, you know. So that is the one make the inflation. Personally, I believe inflation is not an issue. Even though inflation is a little bit up, government will, the Federal Reserve may be a little bit interest, little bit tighten reverse QE, they will reverse back, just like Japan. End of the day is because the population down and the credit, we already use up all the credit. Last 30 years, the reason inflation is because the credit is over credit. Credit card, mortgage, you know, you just use the future money already, but now college inflation, but now it's not anymore. And it's the same thing, the real estate. In short term, real estate is a very dependent on the mortgage rate because right now mortgage rate is low. So we didn't say the market is down. Actually, they're a little bit up. I was told like San Francisco area, Bay Area, a little bit down, but some areas up. But in long term, it's dependent on the job opportunity and the population. So if the coronavirus, people move into the remote urban, suburban areas, you know, and we don't know, maybe real estate and people lost the job, okay, and maybe not necessarily Bay Area have a good real estate as the last 30 years, especially interest rate not going down anymore. Like Australia, the interest rate going up 1%, the real estate value go down to 15%, okay, because the people, the mortgage payment, the monthly payment have to be high, okay. And another one, gold. Personally, gold is against, it's a hedge the inflation and the war. But as I mentioned, inflation may not as big as we thought. Even they print money because the inflation, the population or thing, and gold don't generate the dividends. So personally, you can use some gold as some diversification, but overall, as a financial planning, personally, I don't use gold. I know a lot of my Indian clients, they like gold. My older generation, my grandparents' generation, they like gold because they don't trust the government. They don't trust all these system, financial system. But in the United States, usually we don't use the gold. But in wartime, it is good maybe because it's harder for to carry the cash or things. But overall, you have to understand it's inflation. But if inflation not going up a lot, may not a good investment. Okay, but overall, that's why last few months they said gold will be skyrocket, but actually when they reach 2,000, they go back. If you go in longer term, 2,000 years in long, one soldier, the pay 1 ounce per month. Today, the soldier pay is also 1 ounce gold per month. Almost the same, 2,000 years. They didn't have inflation. Okay, so pretty much very stable. Now, one thing, okay, I short of time. One thing I want to show you is tax. For you, I did my own asset location is the tax. This is the government debt. Okay, this is World War II. Okay, this is the current, and this is what we expect in the next 30 years. And this is tax rate, top tax rate, personal. World War II, we hit 94%. This is World War I for this peak. This is the 1970s. This is 1970s. Top rate is 70%. This is current. Current is about 37. It's a low range. For France, 5 years ago, their top rate is 45. Right now it's 75. For United States, in the coming years, I will expect 50, 70%. If a Democrat or no matter what, when I get a retirement, I will expect this curve going up because only revenue for government is for tax. This is a major revenue. Of course, they may have some fine, they have the license fees, but the majority of tax. This is what's called internal revenue service. But there are so many debts now for the government. Only way they can solve it is increase tax. But of course, they may charge the tax on the rich people or the business. For me, is one risk you have to avoid is move your money to tax-free account. Don't put a lot of money in the 401k or the tax defer. I personally pay the tax now, 30%, okay. I move to low, no tax, tax-free. This year, you can lower your 401k to Roth IRA. You can pay the tax on that for the next 3 years. If people lost the job, have low income, if the market crash, do the loss conversion is good. Or looking for some tax-free vehicles. I use a 7702 tax code, long-term care tax code, whatever. Try to move more money to tax-free because if you are 40, 50 or younger, we will hit here. We will hit the tax rate this area, okay? And that is a big hit. And another one, last one is long-term possible value adjustment. I believe the value will adjust the stock market, okay? Here is my estimation. If the QE slow down, market will adjust. But if the big stimulus package coming after election, most likely they will, then this will not. But the interest recovery, if you find the interest rate going back to 2% level, the market will go down 10 to 20%. If tax increase by the Democrat, the market also have impact about 10%. If the health risk, because from now on, a lot of business, they will not just pay the marketing fees, legal fees. Now they will, all the business will reserve 10% of their profit for the future health risk. In the future, people will not just sign the lease. They're afraid that now they know, sign the lease for 10 years, very risk. You don't know what's the next one. And also the earning impact because of coronavirus, consumer habit to maybe change permanently. Okay, 10% of the political uncertainty depending on how long the settled the election. So there's a lot of market correction. Add up together, even can be 50% correction. So I'm not surprised. Okay, so that's what's my view. Okay, I know I already overused the time, so I'm gonna go back to Devendra or Roger. Okay, so maybe have some questions. Yeah.
We may have only one question that we can probably address. Rajgaru, if it's okay, there is one here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing, Devendra Garu.
Please.
Dr. Zhang, it's a wonderful view of the economy today. So really appreciate you taking time and helping us with this, sir. So thank you. And go ahead, Devendra Garu. Please moderate the questions. Please, anybody, if you have a question, please type it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask, raise your hand, and we will, call your name, and so that way we are not speaking over each other. So we can stay back for another 10-15 minutes. It's a very important topic. It is very near and dear to each and every one of us. Everything that we do is for us to get free from these financial problems, and Dr. Zhang will help us get there. So yeah, so let us go. Devendra Garu, moderate it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Rajgaru. Zhang, the question for you is: what industry is going to succeed in the new socio-economic era? Which industries do you think?
Okay, yeah. So of course, like the healthcare, area or the medicine area, maybe in short term, they will definitely have some booming. Okay, like the digital, like the storages, the data storages, the more people move to the online, they will do help. Okay, but the other side, actually, for example, like a real estate, a lot of things people think, oh, real estate is not good. Okay, or the commercial building, right? But actually, you have to look at it this way. For example, if a lot of commercial building, like a lot of shopping malls, cannot survive, okay? But actually, New York Fifth Avenue, because a lot of remote area shopping mall, they go under, and then you have less competition, and then there is a Fifth Avenue, they will have more business. So for me, a lot of restaurant may not survive. But if you do a good restaurant, because a lot of restaurant will go under, then you have less competition, then your business will grow. So it depends on who will survive. So I will not say which industry. If you are in any industry, if the worst industry, like a restaurant industry or the airline industry, but whoever can survive, they will make a big money. So airline industry or the entertainment, or in the theater, whatever, because whoever can survive, they make more money because all other competition you got, So I would rather give you this concept instead of tell you which industry you get. I would say that's why these bigger companies, solid companies, they survive. You have to look at each industry. You look at who is really can survive. Then you bet on that. Even the airline industry, you bet one, you will make good money. Just like Lehman Brothers go under, but a lot of companies like Bank of America, they can survive, they make good money, later on. Yeah.
All right. I mean, it almost looks like the Charles Darwin's theory, fittest of them will survive, is going to work here too. Wonderful. The other question here is, given the third wave of coronavirus becoming a reality, do you see any drop in the stock market in the short term?
Yeah, in short term, honestly, I would say some drop, but the uncertainty now is because of the stimulus package. Right now, the stock market is not a stock market anymore. It's not a free market anymore. This is more like a stock market in China. It is more controlled by government, the Federal Reserve. If they have a big stimulus package, even the market will go down by any reason, by third wave, whatever. Yes, it's true. Okay, but they print the money, and in the short term, they still can lift it up. Okay, so it's very depending on right now, short term, I would say depending on the stimulus package, what kind of money they go, who will they support that, and the stock market may be up. So, but overall, the third wave, but overall, I would say just like this bubble, there's a bubble, no question about a bubble. The bubble will burst, but the bubble maybe become bigger, So just like earthquake, California will have earthquake, but next year, I don't know. So now the government is, the Federal Reserve is, they want to save it. They want to pump more air to the bubble, okay? But there's more risk. So to me is, if you look at the 10, 20 years, I put a certain guaranteed product, like me guarantee my asset double, guarantee my income for retirement, guarantee no tax. I move at least 20% of my asset into this thing. If the bubble bursts, I don't affect my retirement. I have $10,000 a month guaranteed income. But my 90%, 80% is still in the market. I will go to index, but with this index, I want some protection. Like if the market down next 6 years, 20%, I will don't lose because some company guarantees some hedge. So this kind of strategy, you should think about that. But if I'm a better long, market doing good, my 401k, my real estate, I have office building, I have my stock still doing good, I'm happy. But the problem is 80% of the time, maybe I'm right. The bubble will burst in the next few years. And that will, you may easily lose half of the money because the problem is the disparity of the wealth is so big. If we want to avoid the war, we want to avoid the loots, avoid unrest, need some burst. Okay.
Is it the right time to invest in real estate? I guess this will be probably the last question, or we'll take one more.
Personally, I don't believe so. Okay. Real estate is only good. Two reasons. One is interest rate keep going down, like last 30 years. We are lucky. In the last 30 years, interest rate keep going down, just like a bond. Your price will going up, you have rental income, okay, but now no more. Interest rate may be stable, maybe a little bit up, never go down for another 30 years. So just like a bond, you get out of the bond, get out of the real estate. Another one, the real estate is population. If you really stay somewhere, you see great population coming, then maybe okay. But you don't expect the 7% double-digit return. Real estate in long run, in history, 100 years history, they can beat inflation. But inflation about 3% to 3%, so you may pretty much like that. But because you have property tax, all these things, but of course you can leverage low interest right now, mortgage. So in that case, if your primary house still okay because your interest rate is low, but if you cash down, if you want investment, personally, I don't believe this is a good time. Okay, short term you think is good because of low interest. Because if the interest go back to 2% before the Federal Reserve cut the interest to 0, real estate will already go down 20 to 30%. Real estate, every 1% interest affect their 15% price. Okay.
The last question, I guess, Zhong, thank you for all your time. Why are the mortgage rates increasing even though the Fed chairman has put a cap on the prime rate?
I didn't get why the...
Okay, why are the mortgage rates increasing?
Oh, mortgage rates.
Yeah. Even the Fed put a cap on the prime rate.
Okay, you have to understand the mortgage rate or some bond interest dividends, okay? So interest have two facts. One is general inflation. That's how prime rate defined. Another one is credit, the risk. Because right now the prime rate is low, so interest rate is low. But the people get a mortgage may have a chance to lay off because economic is worse, lost a job and default that. So that's why bank, when they do the mortgage, there are two effects. One effect is going down, is low, but the risk now to give the mortgage, the people job stability. In other words, we will believe in the coming years, the people lost the job, the stock market may crash, and the bank have to put that. You understand? So these two factors together, then the interest rate is going up, the mortgage. Okay.
Thank you, Zhong. Really, really appreciate answering all the good questions.